Well, our presentation is going to be about the situation given in Qatar's World Cup and how the newcomers, the foreign supporters are going to coexist in this new social context, because it is important to remark that this is the first time World Cup is held in an Islamic country, because historically World Cups were held in Western Christian countries, with the exception of Russia, Korea, Japan, and South Africa World Cup. So this is important to know in order to, as we are going to do our analysis based on Hofstede's theory, it is important to know that this is an Islamic country. And well, we already know what Hofstede's cultural dimensions are. This is a theory Hofstede's developed in order to show the differences between cultures based on 6 different dimensions. And it is necessary also to define what a culture is. A culture is the set of beliefs, of values, the way of thinking, behaviors, etc. A society has. So it is important to understand this point, because these are the core features a society has as the main point of differentiation with one another. So
also, the 6 moral dimension of Hofstede serves to identify the cultural behaviors for each group or category and helps us to improve our understanding of other cultures by examining cultural values. And these dimensions are used to understand the difference in culture across countries and to discern the ways of business is done across different cultures. And in this case, we're going to use it to explain some difference in the World Cup in Qatar. The masculinity and femininity dimension is about what values are considered more important in a society. Next one, please. The masculine side of this dimension represents a preference in society for achievement, heroism, competition, assertiveness, and material rewards for success. A high masculinity ranking indicates that the country experiences a high degree of gender differentiation, and a low masculinity ranking indicates that the country has a low level of differences and discrimination between genders. In this case, Qatar is a high masculinity gender because women in Qatar are required to obtain permission to are required to obtain permission from their male guardians, from usually from their father, brother, their grandfather or uncle, or if they are married, their husband, to make daily life decisions such as getting married, study, work, travel. And also Qatari people are a very competitive group of people. They always want to be the best. They always want to be the best in everything, in economy, in now in soccer, even if they don't have the level of players. They want to show the world that they are the best, and they fall into corruption only because they want to demonstrate to people what they are made for. Also, can you to the next, please? Thank you. Also, while making this presentation, there were a lot of rumors about the dress code in Qatar, because Qatari women usually have their hair covered with a black hair dress called tahila, and also their bodies are covered with a black dress called abaya. So we thought that visitors should wear clothing of their choice. However, they must meet requirements showing shoulders or knees, as well as avoiding the use of low-cut clothing. Nevertheless, with the passage of time, we have realized that there are not really restrictions in stadiums or in streets regarding clothing. In TV or social media, or such as TikTok, we can see women wearing dresses or men wearing shorts. So we fell for fake news and got carried away by stereotypes.
So now I am going to talk about the indulgence and restraint dimension. So as we know, Hofstede's theory states that societies can be different one from each other depending on to which extent a society allows or restricts the enjoyment and fulfillment of desires, and also to what extent a society put work over fun and amusement, enjoyment, etc. So yes, for example, in this case, the restraint society would be the Qatari culture, and the indulgent societies will be the newcomers to this country, which is holding this event. Because one of the main points that created the most controversy in this before the event and during the event was the alcohol legislation. So I don't know in your country, but in my country, a lot of people are still talking about how is it possible that alcohol is so restricted in this big event, which is one of the biggest events of the year, if not the biggest. So the point is that alcohol consumption is not accepted religiously in Qatar. It's not accepted by the Sharia, which is the body of law of the Islamic religion. But however, they can consume it under certain circumstances. People need to be over 21 years old in order to consume it. They need special permission in order to buy it in hotels and restaurants. They are not allowed to be drunk in public or to drink alcohol in public, and they can be severely punished. They can be severely punished by fines and with deportation in the case of tourists, so in the worst of the cases. So it's not that easy to consume and to purchase alcohol in Qatar. However, the authorities try to be more flexible with this income of foreign supporters in order to be more flexible, to adapt themselves to the dynamic of the World Cup, because there is always a lobby from the alcohol companies. There is this one alcohol company, I cannot remember its name, but I think it's a German company, which is the company that controls the alcohol selling in all the World Cups. So they negotiated this alcohol selling not in the stadiums, but in designated areas. And I think it's just in designated areas that they permitted this selling alcohol. So tourists it's even difficult for tourists to drink alcohol because the same rules for example, public drinking and public drunkenness is considered a crime. So, well, as I have said, you can be punished with deportation. You cannot import alcohol or sneak alcohol through the airport because it's obviously you are committing a crime. So, and last but not least, alcohol is too expensive. It's very expensive to purchase alcohol in Qatar. So the majority of people, the majority of tourists cannot permit themselves, they cannot allow themselves to buy alcohol. So it is here where this kind of question stems about more in relation with the Western culture, that the Western culture is linked with alcohol as an element of amusement, an element of celebration. I think the Western culture needs to ask itself if it is worth the application of alcohol. It is worth in every celebration, or if we should try to put alcohol aside in order to look for another way to celebrate. Because, yeah, Western cultures in Latin America, Europe, North America, alcohol is always present in celebrations. So it is very important to recognize this as an opportunity to revalue this kind of uses of traditions we have. So the same, obviously, with drugs, they are severely punished. It is not necessary even to talk about it, because if alcohol is severely punished, then drugs, they don't even mention it. So I also think, I also have thought about it as a feature that can be linked with our uncertainty avoidance, because this can be related on the way on how tourists adapt themselves to this new culture, to the Islamic culture. I don't know, in relation with what I have said in the beginning of the presentation, the Western countries were always the ones that received the people from outside. So were the tourists adapting to Western countries. So now we as Western people are adapting to a new culture, new social norms. And I think the Western culture as the hegemonic culture need to go outside our bubble and see other things, other perspectives, and other values, other realities, because that is what it is. It's other reality we didn't even know. Some people didn't even know that existed. So I think it's very important to exercise our tolerance and respect.
Now our conclusions. We decided to change some aspects of our presentation. Maybe you teacher can notice that we eliminated one slide because we realized that we were making it. We didn't know the real situation, what was actually happening in Qatar. So everything was very new and full of uncertainty. Therefore, at first, I think that we fell into stereotypes. However, Now, with the different testimonies from people who are in Qatar, from social media and television, we have realized that there are not as many restrictions in Qatar as we initially thought. And I believe that the people in Qatar knew how to meet halfway, as you told us, with the cultures of other countries. And in a certain way, they must accept the difference between their culture and Mexican, French, Japanese, and other cultures because, as Paula said, they were always the ones adapting to us. So now, with this change uh, of country with a whole different culture, now we are the ones adapt. And also, Qatar is a very young country, and that's also why the majority of their population in Qatar comes from other countries. Therefore, since these people are required to grow the economy, there must be respect on both sides.
Yes, I also think that what Diana said is true. That we had made an stereotype about the Qatari people, and it is, as I said, it is important to remember that the Western culture is always put as the first one in every kind of media, but we need to remember that there are other cultures outside ours, and it is a very enriching experience for us to have the access that the Qatari people give to us to see their culture. So, and also to value the flexibility they are having with us. So, yes, that's it.
Thank you very much, everybody. Help me give them a hand. Very good, very interesting, as I said from the beginning. Now, before we, again, start asking question, giving feedback, normal, you got your 10 and your stars and your estrellitas and everything. So that's the first thing you must remember. So the feedback, please learn from the feedback. You took 16 minutes. Okay, so be very careful with your time in the future. I know I'm not interrupting because I know it's very interesting and I will never interrupt you. It's so interesting. And all the things you were mentioning, I wish, I know, I wish we could have more time. But anyone, please, before I start giving some feedback, anyone, Diana, Antonella, Livia, whoever is still awake, Maria Jose, would you please give feedback or comments, or anyone, Dante, any comments about Paula's and Diana's presentation? I'm
Can
still
you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Diana. Go ahead. I'm still evaluating participation, guys. Come on.
Well, it was very interesting because, as you said, we are so used to stereotype, or we live with this stereotype that it's like very, very bad or dangerous, or it's a very, I don't know, not being offensive, but we learn to classify or live with this stereotype of the oriental, where I don't know how to say that region. So with what you talk, it's like, okay,
Eastern.
well,
We're Western, they are Eastern.
Yeah, in those things, it's like, well, their system functions in different ways, but it functions, and it's impressive. Like, we not see their system like, I don't know, it's totally different, and I got this idea of, well, I don't know, it got like very surprised to me. It was very impressive, and a comment from the World Cup that I could say that it was very funny to me to see the notices, the news about X person did this in the stadium and something like that, and it's like my intern me, it's like, oh yeah, you're supporting and you have reflecting the qualities, but I I remember this international public relations, and my mind is like, no, it's not the way, and it's bad, and it's like those people come to our country and they want us to see their thoughts, their culture, and we are not gonna accept it. So it's like, no, it's not that way. It's not that. So
So glad you're
congratulations, yeah.
sharing that. And Dante and Monse, I need you to participate today because I haven't heard you today, and I'm really looking forward to hearing you. I really loved it. First of all, thank you, Diana. Dante, do you have any comment about this presentation on Qatar?
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Yeah, actually wanted to tell that in the World Cup, it was like comparing the different countries, like how they behave in the in Qatar, and we are proud of being Mexicans, and we make like a lot of breaking the rules. We like to do that all stuff, and also I was looking to the soccer game today of Korea, and it was really interesting, like how they leave the change rooms. I don't know how to say, like they are like really clean. The people are like really cute. Like they don't want to look for problems. They are like different countries, and this is why it's so important the World Cup, because you can see like many different cultures and you can compare. You can make your own comparisons and learn from each country. And also, a friend of mine just arrived from Qatar. He went to the World Cup, and he was like really amazed on how Qatar, like the rules and all that they have, they followed them like in the very strict, not like in Mexico that we have the rules but no one follow them. So this is really interesting.
I am so glad you shared, Dante. Thank you. And I hope, Monse, you can also get to share your opinion on the presentation, which is so. I am so happy, guys. And I loved in your presentation that you emphasized something so important. This is the first time this takes place in an Islamic country. So it is a great globalization advancement. If we really think about it that way, I'm so glad you mentioned that, Paula, because this is huge. It is huge. 50 years ago, this couldn't have probably taken place. So I know, I understand that part. And I really appreciate also you guys are emphasizing this is the way things are. We cannot say what's better or what's worst or it's just the way it is, and values. And you said it, Paula, and I'm glad you mentioned what culture is. Culture is based, of course, on values. It's based on ideas and beliefs. And this is rooted in you and your family, in your society. So it's like you said it also, Diana. It's like when they come and they criticize us Mexicans, uy, nos ponemos locos. We don't want, or Argentinians, right? Or Chileans or Brazilians. ¿Cómo se atreven? How do you dare, come and criticize? But you know what? I think you just said something that is true. When we go abroad, when I say we, I said most Mexicans. Again, I'm not going to generalize, not everyone. We do break rules. It is very hard for us to understand. And Dante, you just said it. Your friend was amazed, not only how strict they are with rules, because we in our country, in our society where we grew up, rules, unfortunately, we learn to bend rules, to live by bending rules. And I'm going back also to some of the previous ideas you have all shared, guys. This makes us a culture, a society. We're not going to say if it's bad or better or worse. And Diana Montiel, you just said something so important too. Let's meet halfway. Like I am open to hear who you are, to try to understand your values, your beliefs. I don't have to agree with your values or beliefs. I do have my own, but I am open to listen to you and to try to find ways for us to at least be together without killing each other, without fighting, without, you know what I'm saying? So I am so glad, guys, and I'm so proud of all of your presentations, all of them, because the whole purpose of this class, and again, as I said, I really hope you can come in Wednesday because we're going to have summary. Oh, Monse, sorry, I said I needed to hear from you because we haven't participated today, and I wanted to give you the opportunity to participate, Monse. I don't know if is she writing in the chat? I don't know. Sometimes her microphone is not working, but I don't see you, Monse, participating. I need thank you. So anyway, I just wanted to finalize today's class by saying that I really and truly appreciate with all my heart all of your presentations. They have been wonderful. Again, you'll have your 10s and your estrellitas, and I'm very proud of you. And I'm so glad all of you said, oh, and the company you were thinking about, Paula, Henneken. Henneken was the company you couldn't remember the name of, remember? Because these are huge billion-dollar sponsors. And again, I know it's really interesting. And I hope we had more time, but we don't have more time. I don't know. And also to conclude, this modern, tender quality of life that defines a feministic or a feminine country, it's Japan, for example. You know, Japan, it's a country that as a society is identified more with the feminist perception of a culture and a society. Okay, not again, it doesn't have anything to do with equity of gender, but it has to do with, as a society, they are modest. Yes, they are tender as human beings, as a society, and they are very interested in the quality of life. That's why Japan tends to be more feminine in that matter. Okay, I told you I was going to give you an example. So anyway, anyone else has anything